Hey y'all, welcome back to 27 by Design, where I'm redesigning my life before I turn 27. This is week 2, and week 2 was all about finances, to be honest. It was a very beginner week for me. I think finances were easiest for me to tackle with the help of a friend. So we're going to get into one of the goals that I've accomplished already, one of my financial goals. I'm going to share more about the zero-based budgeting strategy that I am using to budget, and then also a little grocery shopping update, which kind of feeds into the physical health aspect of this whole challenge. So let's get right into the video. Okay, just a quick refresh, reminder, update. This challenge is focused on changing 4 main pillars of my life. So physical health, creativity, spirituality, and finances. And so just to reiterate, if you haven't watched my very first video, which kind of introduces the challenge and why, you can watch that to see more about what my specific goals are in each of those pillars. But the main big ones that I had for finances, because I think I listed like 5, because look, I got to get them together. Okay. One of the main goals that I had was to save at least $2,000 and pay off one of my credit cards before my 27th birthday, November 25th. And I'm proud to announce that I've paid off one of my credit cards. Oh my gosh. It was like I think the balance was like $1,000. And as I was going through my budgeting and I was looking at like how much money I actually do have saved, I realized that I could put what I have. Okay, I have 2 separate savings accounts. I have a high yield savings account, which is a savings account that I don't even consider as a savings account, but it is obviously, but I just don't think about that money because one, in order to pull it out, it takes a couple business days. So it's not like emergency fund money in a way. I mean, it is, but it's not. So I had like another savings account that I never really kind of thought about. And I just pulled money from there and paid a major portion toward my Apple credit card balance. And then as you guys can see, I paid off the remainder of my Apple balance when I got paid on Friday. So I'm super excited to just kind of have that off my shoulders. I have larger credit card balances that need to be paid. But it's just a good feeling to knock off one of them. I think I'm starting with smaller balances to see progress quicker, because one thing about me, I need to remember to also take my Apple card off of my Apple Pay, because one thing that the beginning of this challenge has just shown me, and even the concept of a zero-based budget, is that majority of our problems with finances begin with the lack of financial literacy. I've never had anyone sit me down and talk about the importance of managing your money and managing your money appropriately. And I say this all the time, but now that I'm in my adult years and just kind of living the childhood that I lived, I think you can have like 2 different spectrums of it. So on one side, if you grow up lacking, and I say that like loosely, like I didn't grow up getting everything that I wanted, but my mother made things happen. But I would also be privy to like, okay, the lights are going off because there's no money for this, or an eviction is about to happen because there's no money for this. So like, you can have that experience and grow up and have your adult money and feel like I'll never get there again. So I'm going to save. And I'm going to be really, really smart with my money, which, is not the healthiest either. But then you can also be on my spectrum where it's like, well, I didn't get to have, I didn't get to order whatever I wanted. Amazon wasn't even really popping when I was younger, but like I didn't get to get whatever I wanted from Walmart. So I'm going to order whatever I want from Amazon. Or if I walk into Target and I see something, I'm going to get it because I didn't have that luxury as a kid. Or if I want to eat this for dinner and it's my favorite food, I'm going to get it because I didn't have that luxury as a kid. As a kid, I had struggle meals. So now I'm going to fine dine every night. So that's where I am. And that's my poor relationship with money. Then I also have like my poor relationship with money is like, if I had a rough day, I'm going to buy something to get a dopamine hit. If I had a good day, I'm going to buy something to celebrate the day. And so those then fall into like spirituality. So my pillars are all interconnected in some way, but yeah, that is something that I'm realizing in a mindset shift that I'm having to make. And so that kind of goes into the whole zero based budget situation. So this is obviously, I would hope that no one thought that this is a concept that I came up with because I just learned about it last Wednesday. So it's absolutely not. But essentially, every dollar that you have is assigned to something. So, like the way that my friend explained it, which is not funny, but my checking account was looking real finicky, I'll be honest. And she was basically like, when you get, we had this conversation on Wednesday, and it was like, when you get paid on Friday, whatever you have left in your checking account needs to go to something, whether it's saving, whether it's toward a credit card, etc. And so it's basically assigning every dollar that you make to something. And that is how her budget template that she shared with me is organized. So I'm not gonna share the template just because I don't know, that's kind of weird to do in my opinion. What I will do, so this is a screenshot of what the budget looks like essentially. On the left side, my income is included in there, and then I've also whited out like what my bills are, just because that's what I feel comfortable doing on the World Wide Web. But as you'll see, like I have what my bills are for my first check of the month, what my bills will be for the second, what it'll be for the third, and then like what is my monthly spending looking like, or what is the budget that I have for it. For example, what I'm going to do in a second is pay the remaining bills that aren't on auto pay. So like the Capital One FU is Freedom Unlimited, but FU to credit, okay? But no, it's a Freedom Unlimited card and I want to pay $100 toward that. So I'm going to go ahead and pay that. The rest of the things come out automatic, or some of the things come out automatically. My rent is not an automatic payment, but like my car note is. My car insurance just came out today. So like those things I don't have to worry about, but if it's not an automatic payment, I'm going to go ahead and pay it today so that I know what I'm working with going forward. And then once I get paid in August, I am going to kind of just basically revisit what I've spent. Like I know so far on my spending side, I have $150 set aside for eating out, and I think I'm at like 90. Reason being, obviously, because I live with my boyfriend and we kind of like alternate. And we had kind of like an unspoken whoever brings it up is the one who pays for it. And unfortunately, I'm always bringing up eats because, like I said, I tie wanting good food to my emotions. And then also I need to reframe what good food is, but that's neither here nor there. So that's how my zero-based budget is working. I would like to kind of set up my camera the next time I do this and walk through this with you guys. But on Wednesday when I did this, it was literally, we were at the end of our workday and we're just like, okay, let's do this because you sent this to me. Let's work through this. So yeah, that's what we're looking like budgeting wise. I'm pretty excited. I'll be honest. I don't know if it's the concept of having something new in my face or something new to do. I kind of have to make this like a challenge to feel accomplished in a way to make me want to keep going. So yeah, I have a grocery budget of $150 and that's for 2 weeks. And I literally went to a grocery store here in Chicago and spent $122. So like ideally I can pull some of my eating out budget towards the grocery budget and not go over what I've allotted for outside spending altogether. But yes, groceries, 122 for groceries. I feel like we walked out with a good amount of stuff. We have like vegetables, which I probably should cook soon, maybe today. I bought salmon, but it is not a wild caught, which kind of irritated me because like how is salmon farm raised, and when I smelled it, it did not have that fish smell, and I said no, like no, it's got to smell like fish. So I'm probably not gonna eat that. What else did we get? Fruit. I feel like maybe we did walk out with nothing. I don't know, but yeah, we got an array of items that I do anticipate lasting us the week on top of just other things that we have in the house. Honestly, I do see like the whole eating portion of the budget being the hardest part, but I do feel that I've failed with planning accurately. For one, I didn't even record. I didn't even bring my camera because it just kind of popped in my mind. We went outside to move the car and I was like, oh, well, we're in the car. We might as well go to the grocery store. And there was no plan. Like, what do we need? What don't we need? What meals can we make with XYZ? So I think going forward, there needs to be more attention there, which would then kind of offset what's being spent. If I have a plan and I know, this day is going to go to this, leftovers look like, etc. So I think that is one thing that I'm going to prioritize moving forward. And hopefully the next time I go to the grocery store, I remember to bring my camera and I can bring you guys with me. So like I said, I am paying some bills today. And I think most importantly, one thing that I want to say, one thing that I've never played with, one thing that I just don't play with is paying my rent and paying my car note. Okay. I think it's important to pay your bills on time, period, and keep track. I can honestly say, like, there's not been a time where I've had to like jump on a payment plan or pay late fees for any of my bills. And that was just something that I experienced growing up that I never wanted to put myself in the position of. There's nothing wrong with that. I was laid off last year and I was close to having to do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think there's just an anxiety that comes over me when and if I would ever need to find myself in that position. So I take that very, very, very seriously. And I say that to say, like, when you're budgeting, be realistic about your budget and be realistic about where you need to cut things. For example, in the spreadsheet, we started with bills. Like, there was no concept of like, okay, well, let's do spending and see what like, we started with bills because staying on top of your bills are just important. So like, if you're budgeting and you don't really know what to start, pull up your statements. If you have a calendar of all your bills, kind of set that out first. Set out those bills and keep track of when they are due and when they're paid. Because for big bills that I won't say don't matter, I just have them on auto pay and they just kind of go. And that's something that I need to keep better track of. I don't know when bills outside of rent, car note, and car insurance are due because everything else is like my phone bills on auto pay. Like my small little Canva, Epidemic Sound, Apple Music, they're all on auto pay. So I'm not really keeping track of them, which this budget is going to help me do. So I'd say definitely prioritize your bills when you're budgeting first and then start keeping track of what you're actually paying. And that second part is note to me as well. So that was up week 2 and a little finance update. I'm really trying to now focus on paying down additional credit cards and kind of reworking or reframing where I can save $2,000 at just where it makes sense. But I really do want to do that by my birthday. So I do think I want to rework the budget that I've created. And next week, we are just going to be doing some resetting. I need to get back on routine. I've kind of lost the concept of a routine altogether. I'm reworking what a routine looks like for me. I used to be a morning gym girly, but now I'm just like, well, could I go after work? So this next week, we're going to be figuring out what routine actually looks like and how I can kind of get on a structure to make reaching those additional goals of, losing 10 pounds, finishing my book, reading the Bible daily, make those easier goals for me. Because right now I feel like I'm just free falling and I want to kind of catch myself and get it together. So if you find yourself on a similar journey, whether you're trying to reclaim your finances, you want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to read books, you want to finish a book, you want to pray to God more, or lock in on what you have next for your life, I just want you to know that I'm rooting for you and I can't wait to see you succeed. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried zero-based budgeting, or if you have like any other budgeting tips for any other viewers and myself, like keeping track of your bills, saving more efficiently, etc. Definitely happy to see some tips, happy to gain some new insight and crush these saving goals with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and don't forget to drop that comment down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.